Hi everyone and welcome to the 9th week. Today we'll have a more practical class. First I will show you, just to remind you, how to do a serging. Then I will show you how to sew a vent and a slit. Usually vents and slits you can see in the skirts or dresses, but what I find important is the process of sewing them, because knowing the basic details and the basics of sewing will later on help you to do more difficult stuff. Now I want to show you the main difference between a slit and a vent, and I have examples, and today we will try to create the same examples. So here is vent and here is slit, and you can, like this, and you can basically see the difference. The difference is the way both layers of fabric directed, because in the vent you can see that both of them, if I turn wrong side you can see it more clear, that both layers are turning into one direction, and when you walk and when your vent opens you will not see legs, you won't see any gap, because underneath you have another layer of fabric. While a slit is a little bit different, because both layers are turning opposite direction, and when you walk you can see a gap opening. To create our samples we need to first cut the pattern pieces, and this is the pattern I'm going to use for slit, and I will need to cut 2 of them. And for the vent I have this pattern which I also have to cut 2, because there's left and right. If we were in a class, I would definitely give you a pre-cut pattern piece, but unfortunately there is no opportunity for this. That's why when you will be practicing at home, try to draw the similar shape on the paper, and then cut the paper and place it on the fabric to cut your pattern pieces. The main idea is just to copy this shape, because you can copy the shape, but also don't forget about notches. Here I have 1/2 inch notch. It means that when I will fold my fabric, it will be folded along these notches, and this 1/2 inch notch would be folded inside, and for the slit it will be the left side, and the same, the second piece of fabric I will have like on the right side, and all together it will create this. So if I unfold it, because it's tacked, I can't really unfold it, but if I unfolded this one, you would definitely get the same shape. The same for the vent. And if I turn my example, we have to attach here 1/2 inch, and 2 inches we have here. That's why when you create this pattern piece, make sure you have 1/2 inch here, and that you have 2 inches wide here, and those notches have to be on one line. Another notch is this horizontal. This notch shows me where I need to fold my hem. As you remember, the hem allowance can be different depending on where it is, and for this current sample I have hem about 1.5 inches. That's why I have notch here. And on the samples, you can see this vent sample, you see that I folded hem allowance about 1.5 inches up. I cut 2 pattern pieces for slit and for vent, and in order not to confuse left and right side, I will do writing in advance. I will write left and right on the wrong side of the fabric. Left, right, and when after serging, when I will be attaching these 2 pieces, I know that this is wrong side, so when I need to do folding, I will make sure that I do it on the that wrong side is facing me whenever I do the folding, right? And for the slit I do the same. I write left and right. our first sample we're gonna work on is a slit, and the very first step is to put right side on the right side in the way that wrong side is facing you, and find the corner, like the very corner, and draw the line, perpendicular line from this corner. You can see this line here, and to find a dot, and this dot has to match the notch line, because we will need to sew a line down from here, like from here down to this point. And don't forget that the seam allowance is 1/2 inch. Therefore, now I will go to the sewing machine. I do back tag, sew all the way down here and do back tag, and here where your slit will start. Basically from this point and down you will have this gap. After we have sewn this part, you need to press it nicely. What I did is first I push it on the side, and I push another part on the side, and here is the line that we have already sewn. And once you do this line, you understand where is your fold line, and you basically have to push them apart and press them nicely. Next step would be to press the hem. You fold a 1.5 inches, and you press it nicely, and almost your slit is done, but we still have to do a couple stitches. In order to finish these corners, there is a very simple method that I like to do. First you need to unfold it, and make sure that you work on the wrong side. Fold it diagonally this way and create the crease. The idea is that here is the fold line, right? And here is the dot. And you have to fold it right on this dot to make sure that you create a square. And once this is done, it's supposed to, everything has to fold nicely and be equal to each other and match. And once I unfold it, you can see clearly that we created this line. And the idea is, if we fold it right on this dot, the line has to match, and we need to sew right from here along this diagonal line. Here you can see when I fold it, you can see that it folds naturally because earlier we created the crease. And all we need to do is to back tack here and sew all the way up and back tack. Once you're done sewing, take this corner and copy what I do. Fold it nicely and then reverse it. And push the corner. Take anything sharp and just push it until you create the nice corner. The same with the opposite side. Go to the iron and nicely press it. The very last step that we need to do is to stitch here, because we need to secure the slit on the place, because while we walk it will be moving, and to avoid it we need to have this two secure stitches. But in order to make them equal and straight, I first like to draw the horizontal line, and then I find the middle point and I join one side and the second side. And when I'll be sewing, I will start from here, do back tack, so all the way up and then all the way down and back tack. The slit is ready. Make sure that you have 1/2 inch here, seam allowance. You have 1.5 inch hem that you correctly folded, and you have the sharp corners here which are matching, and that you have secured the slit on each side. And here is the result. And of course, in the end, nicely press it. Second sample we will be working on is vent. I have already pressed them. Once you get 2 pieces, left and right, for the left piece you need to press 1/2 inch, then you need to press hem up 1.5 inches, because our hem allowance is 1.5 inches. Then when you work with the right piece, you need to fold 2 inches. As you remember, we usually have notch at the top and at the bottom, and if you follow the notches it will equal 2 inches, because here we have 1.5 inches and here we have seam allowance 1/2 inch as well, so in total it's 2 inches. And the hem also press it up by 1.5 inches. And these are the pieces that you need to get in order to start sewing. First we will work with the left piece. The trick of this corner to make it clean finish is, right now the wrong side is facing us, but we need to reverse it, and this is the right side. This is the side that people will see on you, and this is the side that will be touching your body, right? So we need a good side, and the trick is here. Pay attention. First, what we need to do, we need to fold our hem up. So basically we do the reverse folding. When we were pressing, we did the fold to the wrong side, and now we do fold to the correct side. And once you did this, you need to go under the sewing machine and stitch from here down here. When you stitch it, don't forget back tack. I did the stitch line, as you can see, with back tack on both ends, and now I need to reverse it. Now we see the right side of the fabric, but we have to reverse it to the wrong side and fix the corner. Now I advise you to press it, and after you press it, the next step will be to do a stitch line a 1/4 inch from the fold up from here down to here with back tacks on both ends. I did the stitch line. Our next step is to join left and right piece. We need to first unfold the right piece and then place the left one on top of that, making sure that all corners are matching. Okay, once we're done with this, we need to stitch 1/2 inch from the edge up from here down and through the top of the vent. First, draw this line 1/2 inch from the edge, and then draw the vertical line, because this way it will be easier for you to find the intersection point. And all what we need to do now is to stitch up from here. Don't forget back tack down till this point. Then you need to pivot it under the machine. When you pivot, make sure that your needle stays down, but raise your feet up in order to move easily fabric under the needle, and then go down till here and do the back tack. Once you're done with the stitch till this point, then down here and back tack, we need to go and press it under the iron. In order to press this seam allowance opened, do a slash right here till the stitching line. This way it will be easy to press it open. And when you press it, make sure it is flat and press it this way. Next step is to attach this vent to the fabric to make sure that it doesn't move when we walk. Basically, all we need to do is to make a stitch line from here down to here and do back tack. Here I did the stitch line with back tack, and now we need to clean finish this corner in the same way as we've clean finished this corner. To do this, we need to reverse it like this. So basically we fold it to the right side, and then we need to stitch from here to here with back tacks. Once you did the stitch line, reverse it to the wrong side, and make sure that you get a nice corner here, and press it under the iron. Both corners are clean finish, and all we need to do right now is to attach hem allowance to the fabric. And here we will use method called blind stitch. To do blind stitch, take the needle, thread, and start from the left to the right. First I catch this the hem allowance, and then I grab a little bit of fabric something about 1 yarn, and I keep distance ½ inch between each stitch. So I grab a little bit here, but I grab much more from hem allowance because hem allowance is hidden inside. And do this for the entire hem. When you finish blind stitch, you can feel that it's pretty secure here and you cannot unattach it from the fabric, but when I reverse it, you would not be able to see the stitch line. Here are our final samples, the slit and the vent. If you have any questions regarding the samples or other sewing classes, please feel free to contact me and write me. This is end for our today's class. Hope you enjoyed the sewing, and I will see you in a week. Bye bye.